Good morning, Peter. Here's your machine, the Breville Barista Pro BES878 in silver. As you saw in the photos, it's in very good condition. I would give it an 8 out of 10. Only really light scratches around here where the cup goes in and out. Light scratches around here, and a few marks on the right hand side that I couldn't get off. Otherwise, it's really clean and it's been taken care of. I would say this machine has been used well, and I'm going to be making a latte on it now. So a double shot latte, just to demonstrate how the machine works and demonstrate that everything works, of course. So obviously this is a really fast machine. It turns on in 5 seconds. And it's the same for the steam switching. It switches to steam really quickly. So I think you'll love that. I'm just going to fill it with a little bit of water. While the boiler is hot when you first turn it on in the first 5 seconds, I still recommend you warm up the machine a little bit, and you can do that by running a blank shot. So that means just running some hot water through the group head into a cup, for example, just to warm things up a little bit more, to make sure that the handle is hot, the pipes are hot, and the cup underneath is also hot. So you can do this once or twice by pressing the double shot button. You put it on the side. You can also grab hot water from the machine by turning on the hot water tap, which is, you don't have to move the cup actually, it's literally pointing into the cup as well. So it's over here. It'll give you clean hot water straight from the boiler. So that's a little bit handy if you needed it. I use the hot water tap personally for making long black coffees, Americanos, and sometimes, in this case, I'm warming up my cup. Or if you want to brew some tea, you can use the hot water tap for that as well. Okay, I'm going to put the cup on the side. I've prepared my milk in the jug here. But let's do the grinding now. So when you grind the coffee, you want to start with a dry portafilter. So take it out, dump all the hot water, and wipe it dry with a tissue. I'm going to use a scale to measure the coffee in and the coffee out, just to be consistent. But you still can use the machine without a scale. It just makes, like, having a scale makes life easier. So I recommend one if you don't have one already. If not, I'll still teach you how to use the machine without a scale. Okay, so 0. The grinder has a few settings, so you can select a single or a double amount, and you can adjust those settings based on the weight. So if you see at 11 seconds, the coffee machine gives you the full 18 grams. Perfect. You may need to change this depending on the bean that you're using. Same thing with the grind size. At the moment, it's grind size number 8. I'm not sure if you can see on the. Yeah, you can't. It's grind size number 8, which is on this dial here. Obviously, smaller numbers mean finer. So you turn this to make it finer or coarser, and only change this dial when the grinder is grinding, not when it's static and not moving. So grind size number 8, amount 11 seconds. Let's see how much that gives us. So this is the double shot basket, single wall. So this is the one you want to be using. It's the one that will taste the best. You just have to play with the settings and the grind amount. Okay, so make sure my scale is 0. I'm going to grind a little bit and then measure. Okay, looks good. Whoops, running out of beans. Just adjusting the grind size for you. Okay. Okay, I believe 5.5 seconds will give around 9 grams, at least with these beans. So 11 seconds should give you a full double shot. So let's try this 5.5. It's 5.5. Okay. So that gave me 8.4 grams. So 6 seconds should be perfect. 6 seconds should give you 9 grams. Of course, you don't have to be exactly on the dot. You don't have to have exactly 18 grams. So if you add half a gram more or half a gram less, the machine will still work fine. But if you want to be picky, you just aim for that 18 gram mark. Let's see. That's 18 grams. I'm very happy with that. So before tamping, so as you saw, I grind the first half, so the first 5.5 seconds, sorry, the first 6 seconds, we've changed that. So you grind the first 6 seconds, tamp it down, and then after the second dose, you flatten it with your palm before tamping it down, or your fingers. Just make sure you're working on an even surface. You don't want to press the coffee when it's an uneven shape, if that makes sense. So you want to flatten it a little bit and then press it down. That's perfect. So when you press it down, you want to apply even, firm pressure all around and then twist it at the end to give it a polish, and that's it. If you don't have a scale, a good way to know that you have roughly 18 grams is look at the depth of the tamper here. So with 18 grams, I've pressed the coffee down. The tamper only went as deep as the silver cap here. So just like you see, that's about 18 grams, and that's about the depth that the tamper usually goes to after I press it down. Yeah, so if it's approximately this deep and it doesn't go any deeper, you're doing it right. It's the same with the other size baskets. And this is actually the same height as the razor tool that they include. The razor tool is the one that scrapes off excess coffee, which I don't recommend you use it because it disrupts the coffee and it's a little bit wasteful. So just make sure you have the correct dose off the bat. Sweet. I'm going to clean the edges if there's any ground coffee here, and it doesn't hurt to do another purge. Just like so. So the coffee that I'm making is a 2-to-1 ratio. So the espresso is a 2-to-1 ratio. So I put in 18 grams and I want to get out 36 grams. I just want to double the grounds into liquid espresso. That's the basic recipe. And I want that to happen in about 20 to 30 seconds. The machine, thankfully, has a timer, so it will tell you how long. And I've tested this before, and it was about 32 seconds, which is perfect. 32 seconds for a double shot is textbook. So I'm gonna lock it in. Being a relatively new machine, you don't have to lock it in all the way. I mean, the rubber seal is fairly tight already, so you don't have to push it all the way. Although in a few years' time, you might be able to push it a little bit to the right, to the 5 o'clock position. At the moment, 6 o'clock, dead center, more than tight enough. So keep it there, don't force it. If you do notice a difficulty in locking the handle, then that's too much coffee probably. Here's my hot water. I'm gonna dump it out, and let's make the coffee. Again, I'm gonna use the scale just to confirm that I have the correct dose. I've already programmed the button to give you about 40 grams, which is good. These buttons, of course, are programmable. We can go to the settings. You can change things like temperature, button settings, and you can also do the cleaning cycle from the menu, which is really nice. You want the flow to be nice and smooth, almost like warm honey. If it's too quick, like a black river coming out of the spouts, that's too quick. If it's too slow, if it's like black drops dripping, then that's obviously too slow, and you want to increase your grind size based on that. So here's the coffee. Looks beautiful. Exactly what I was looking for. Nice and smooth flow, not too quick, not too slow. And I'm going to measure it when it's done. I think it should be around the 36 gram. Sorry, the 40 gram mark, if I remember correctly. 31 seconds, there we go. I'm very happy with this shot. It is 40 grams, perfect. Now let's do the milk. Just one more note regarding coffee speed. If it's too slow, that probably means your grind size is too fine. If it's too quick, that probably means your grind is too coarse. And this is assuming you're using fresh beans. If you're using stale beans or supermarket cheap beans, the coffee will be quick regardless, even if you change the grind setting. So just make sure you have fresh, relatively fresh beans. You don't have to buy the expensive ones all the time. Just make sure you find a good brand. So I use Aldi, just because they're a good price for the quality. There's a lot of other ones like Lavazza, Grinders, and Harris. Avoid things like Coles, Vittoria. Those ones will be runny and tasteless all the time. Okay. Steam. Turn it on. 5 seconds later, it'll start steaming. Literally the fastest machine in the world to do this. Give it a few more seconds to get stronger. Then turn it off quickly. Put your milk. Make sure you spin the milk in a vortex, and you keep the wand close to the surface of the milk so that it injects air as it spins the milk. That's how you get a frothy texture. The longer you keep the wand close to the surface, the more air you'll be injecting and the fluffier the milk will be. So if you want a latte, I only do this for about 15 seconds. For a cappuccino, you can do it for about 25 seconds. You don't have to count, you just have to practice doing it. And then I'm going to stop the steamer when I'm happy with the temperature. So when I can't touch it for too long, I'm making this latte for my brother, so he likes it relatively hot, around the 65-degree mark. I'm going to turn it on. Really important, you want to purge the wand straight away. Purge, just some hot water, some steam after it's done. To clean it up, you don't want it to be clogged. And then also grab a wet towel and wipe it off straight away. Obviously the steam wand gets really hot, and if you don't wipe it straight away, it'll be really hard to remove the milk residue. So keep your machine nice and clean, and it will keep you happy. Let's see, we have not cleaned our machine. So after doing the milk, or even after doing the espresso, obviously you want to take out the grounds as soon as you can. You don't want the grounds to be stuck in there. And I like to run a blank straw just to clean it up a little bit more. So run some hot water to rinse the group head and the handle at the same time. So I recommend doing this step to keep your machine nice and clean, prolong the life of your rubber seal, and obviously prevent any rust or damage. Yeah, that's your coffee machine. I'm sure you'll love it, or whoever's receiving this machine. Yeah, it's really smart. It will remind you when to clean, when to descale, when to fill the water tank. And I will pour my milk now. Just tap down the jug to break any large bubbles. Then swirl it around to mix it up. Do this a couple times until the texture is nice and smooth. There we go. And with some practice, you can do latte art really easily with this machine. Let me show you the final result. There it is. This is not art, but it tastes really good. I think that's all that matters. And I hope you enjoy the machine. If you have any questions or queries, feel free to message me. I'll see you soon. Cheers.